Hey everybody, watch this review here with a response to Shartimus's question as to whether Vonner should be moved from the Marvel Universe to the Marvel Legends line. Well, how shall I put this? I think moving David Vonner to the Legends line would basically be like giving somebody a tiny umbrella during a shitstorm. I think the way that Hasbro's been running things so far has just been so weird that no matter what you do at this point, the lines are going to continue to be fairly messed up. First and foremost of all the huge problems that are just besetting things are all these stupid store exclusives. I mean, Walmart is absolutely awful for carrying their product. I mean, like 9 out of 10 Walmarts maybe won't actually have what they're supposed to carry, the exclusives. Or at least that's what it's like in the immediate area in the Walmarts that are closest to me. I've never once seen anything from a lot of the more recent lines in there, but I don't know. It's the same thing with the DC Universe lines. I mean, Walmart, giving them these store exclusives is just completely porking the consumer at the end of the day, because they aren't hitting all the stores, and if they are hitting stores, they're just getting snapped up and being put up on eBay, and then you're ending up paying $40 or $50 for a $15 figure that really only has about the quality of like a $7 or $8 figure, but neither here nor there. I'm going to discuss the 3 3/4 scale in general, just because it's something that really has been bothering the hell out of me. Now, I'm not sure if these are technically Marvel Universes. I mean, although they say they're Marvel Universes, I mean, it's really the Secret War expansions, and the product is even more gimped than the normal Marvel Universes. Because, like, no matter how many times people try to tell you that Marvel Universe has all the same stuff as the Marvel Legends, it doesn't at all. I mean, if anybody's seen the regular Hand Ninja, you'll know how much more detail and so forth went into it, as opposed to this little thing here, but I mean, even if you compare this to like the older 3 3/4 series, like the Marvel Legends Showdowns, you know, you've got a shit ton more detail and everything. Which actually is why they can't get away with calling these Marvel Universes some offshoot of the Marvel Legends, because nobody'd buy it quality-wise. I mean, look at the Doctor Doom. Joints are completely messed up, but bear with me. There's a ton of texturing in terms of, I don't know if it's the paint or whatever, but you know, this tunic looks like a tunic. This cape looks like a cape. And, you know, the quality is just there for the detail and so forth. It's just that they did something funky with the shoulder joints. But now, when it comes down to these fuckers, I'm looking for this for the past few weeks. I stopped over at Target today. Oh, by the way, the pricing is completely messed up for these. If you go to Toys R Us, you're going to pay $15 for a 2-pack. You go to Walmart, you're paying $12. Target is $13. Or at least the ones near me are. But I spent like 3 weeks just checking in regularly to see if one of these guys had picked them up. And I finally found them in Target today. But these look terrible. I mean, I know that Shartimus was actually complimenting these, but maybe it's just all the paint varieties that I've seen, but there are just an obscene number of production errors with all these things. But now, there are 3 of them in there. One of them had like so much black shade on the side of the Hulk's face that, you know, it was just, I can't even put into words my disappointment, disgust, and just everything that was building, the vomit building at the back of my throat while I was looking at that thing. I mean, like half the face was practically black instead of just a tiny amount of shading. And of course, there are 3, each of the different Cyclopses had a different production error. Like this one has the paint going up a little bit in the middle, another one had the paint coming up on the sides. But I mean, they need to get their crap together as far as production goes. I also saw the Red Hulk for the individual one for $8.44, which, you know, is an obscene price to pay for, but whatever. I was gonna buy it anyway, but it had what looked like ink just like smeared on the face over here, and the hair. The hair was the worst part of it. The hair wasn't even like didn't even have full paint attachment to it. So you could see like the red through the hair in places. But I mean, how do these things get by production? I mean, these are like some really huge errors that, you know, any reasonable company should be able to screen out. And like, wherever I see these things, I mean, it's just like, now I know that I've often complained that, there's this paint error, that paint error, and so forth in the older lines, but I mean, this is just like a whole nother level, just from, like, no matter whenever I see these things, I always notice, like, some seemingly random error right off the top of the bat, but the other problem is the joints are just really, really scrawny on some of these Marvel universes. Like when it goes down to the knee, it's like a twig. You could feel like you could snap it. So I mean, I've actually avoided picking up quite a number of figures just because I'm just worried that even like when I'm going to display them, I'll just break the stupid things. But I mean, you just can't get the level of detail and quality and so forth. I mean, these really aren't all that great for collectors. I know that you're probably saving a little bit on costs on their end, and they're probably finding these stupid things profitable. Now, Shartimus had the idea that this forces people to rebuy stuff, but I mean, the other big thing that you have to think about is the fact that the scale basically puts them in line with the G.I. Joes, so I mean, this is basically a good cross-promotional effort to, like, get people who are buying these things to go and buy the Joes and so forth, but I'm just tossing out those random thoughts there, but I mean, just look at, just once again, look at this, and then just look at the kind of stuff we're getting here. I mean, they need to really just revamp the quality, go back and really think about it, because I have no objection, well, actually I do have a basic objection to just using the smaller scale, because I naturally prefer the larger scale, but I mean, you can actually do these, you can make them look half decent, and people will be pretty happy about it, even if you're kind of being a jerk about the whole thing and basically just giving us 2-packs for the normal Legends and then releasing wave after wave of these little things. Although they do have cool little accessories, which I thought was pretty neat, and the price is excessive. I mean, if you're paying $13 for a 2-pack, I can understand that. $12 for a 2-pack's even better, but the individual ones are $8 to $9 at most stores, which is kind of obscene for what they are. I don't care how much inflation hits you or how much production costs go up, how much you're paying for the licensing that you took from some other company, but I'm not sure about the exact nature of the deal, so I'm not going to even guess that the licensing is why they're driving up the prices. But I mean, there's just a certain point where people will start to be just completely unreasonable in terms of, like, once a figure hits a certain number, like, no matter how good it is, I think people start to just kind of gravitate away, I mean, that's actually not true in some of the cases of the larger figures, because, I mean, people will, of course, pay $30-40 on eBay for a lot of the cooler ones, but in general, for most figures, people won't drop $30 or $40 for. And although the smaller scale does resemble the larger counterparts, when you actually stop to look at the quality, it just looks so much cheaper. Like, I was checking out the Daredevil today, and the head was just tiny compared to the rest of the body. I think that was the, was that a Wave 1 one? I can't tell. I'm not sure what. But I mean, this Iron Man, of course, I mean, he looks okay. I mean, he looks just like, a lot like the one you'd get out of the 2-pack right now, but I mean, even that's just kind of cheesy quality, And Marvel Legends was a brand and that we came to expect more from. Then when they're gradually replacing it with another brand, you have to begin to expect more from the other brand as well. Especially because at the same time they're putting out these Marvel universes, they're also putting out all the cheesy animated series ones, like they have the Spider-Man cartoon ones still in stores and so forth, and the Iron Man movies filling up the shelves still. Well, probably because they don't sell, but I mean, why don't they sell? I don't know. Maybe it's the quality. But I'm just saying, before we talk about Vonner moving here or there, we have to start to really push for better individual quality in terms of paint and just general production values. Because I mean, even if you have a top tier artist and sculptor on there, if Hasbro's going to gimp you on the paint, if they're going to gimp you on just trying to do this stuff as cheaply as possible, it's still going to come out looking like shit. I mean, you could paint the Mona Lisa with horse manure, and guess what? It's going to look like horse manure. But you know, that's just my 2 cents. Some people probably feel differently, because I assume there are probably some supporters of the Marvel Universe line and Hasbro in general, but I mean, it's not like they look terrible half the time, but I mean, this doesn't look great. The 2-pack with the Captain American claw, I wanted both those characters for the scale, but both of them look completely awful. I mean, they had like little girly legs, like, but you know, I'm just starting to get a tirade, but basically, I mean, Hasbro needs to get its house in order. It needs to like stop doing all these stupid store exclusives. It needs to work on its distribution. It needs to work on the production, because I mean, those the meat and bones. You gotta take care of that before you can even think of this other stuff.